comes with his 14-point formula. And what was this 14-point formula? Again, this 14-point formula was an alternative of Simon Commission recommendations or Nehru Report recommendations, right? Motilal Nehru committee did what? They proved it कि देखो हम भी बना सकते हैं ऐसा draft, right? They presented an alternate model. जिन्ना ने कहा मैं भी बना सकता हूँ. I can also make an alternate model. वो कहाँ पीछे रहने वाले थे? Then Jinnah came with his 14-point formula. And this is also very interesting that from where he stole this word 14-point formula. So this 14-point formula basically when Paris peace settlement was taking place in the year 1919 after the end of First World War. So there was US President Wilson, right? In world history you will read about this. There was a US president. The name of that president was Woodrow Wilson, right? And Woodrow Wilson wanted to maintain peace and neutrality in the world. And in order to maintain peace and neutrality, he gave 14 points formula. And for this 14 points formula, he also got Nobel Peace Prize. तो जिन्ना ने कहा यही चुरा लो 14 points formula, मुझे भी peace prize मिल जाएगा, Nobel Peace Prize. So he took this word 14 points formula, right? So basically this 14-point formula is popular in context with suggestions given by Woodrow Wilson that after the conclusion of First World War, how peace and neutrality can be established in the world. Okay, so this is another episode. In world history you will read about this, but what I want to say here is that first we need to understand that what Jinnah is suggesting, that which kind of independence we want in 1929. Okay, this is Jinnah's model. कि कैसी आज़ादी जिन्ना चाहते हैं 1929 में. This is Jinnah's 14-point formula. What is Nehru report? किस तरह की आज़ादी इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस चाहती है? Which kind of freedom Indian National Congress want? Okay, that is Nehru report. Which kind of freedom and independence Jinnah wants? That is Jinnah's 14-point formula. इतनी सी बात है. Now this Jinnah's 14-point formula will appear in March 1929. You will remember only years. There is no need to remember the month, right? March 1929. Now what are the recommendations here? This we need to understand. That what are the recommendations of Jinnah's 14-point formula? This is very interesting. We need to understand. So dekho, recommendations are important. This can be asked in prelims question. Okay. So first recommendation is that Jinnah says that we want a federal system, federal constitution, right? So Jinnah also talks about a federal political setup. Jinnah also talks about a federal political setup. In this federal political system, obviously the nature of constitution will also be federal. The nature of constitution will also be federal. And when this federal constitution will come, what will happen? Center will have its power, central list. There are subjects enumerated in the central list, right? There is a state list or provincial list. There are subjects enumerated in the state list or provincial list, जिस पे सब states कानून बना सकते हैं. Okay. And the third, residuary powers. The third is what? Residuary powers. Okay. Now what Jinnah says, this is very interesting. Jinnah says that in this federal political setup, what should be more powerful, center or provinces? This is very strange. Jinnah's ideas are suggesting that provinces should be more powerful. What will happen if provinces will be powerful? Will it promote disintegrating tendencies in the state? Yes. ठीक है, अगर सेंटर से ज़्यादा पावरफुल प्रोविंसेस हो जाएंगे तो इससे क्या होगा? डिसइंटीग्रेटिंग टेंडेंसीज प्रमोट होंगी. एंड हाउ वी कैन सी दिस? दैट जिन्ना इज फेवरिंग फॉर अ पावरफुल province. Look here. Jinnah says that the residuary powers should be given to provinces. Jinnah says that the residuary power should be given to provinces. जिसके पास रेसिडेंटी पावर्स होंगी वो क्या होगा, ज़्यादा पावरफुल। पहली चीज़, रेसिडेंटी पावर्स शुड बी गिवन टू प्रोविंसेस। नेहरू रिपोर्ट में क्या था, व्हाट वाज गिवन इन नेहरू रिपोर्ट, रेसिडेंटी पावर विल बी गिवन टू सेंटर। So Nehru report advocated for a powerful center and Jinnah is advocating for powerful provinces. Residuary power should be given to provinces. And he is also saying that the states or provinces should also be granted autonomy to a large extent, right? He is talking about giving a not complete autonomous status, but he is talking about, okay, read this, to a large extent, provinces should be made autonomous. Provinces should be made autonomous. Autonomous का मतलब होता है कि ये अपने decisions लेने में स्वतंत्र होंगे. They will be independent in taking their decisions on some subjects which will be enumerated in the list. So he is saying that provincial autonomy to a large extent should be ensured. What will happen if provincial autonomy will be ensured? Okay, to large extent, it will make provinces powerful. What will happen if residuary powers will be given to the provinces? It will also make the provinces powerful. So what is the threat of this suggestion? What could be the possible threat? The possible threat could be, in future, if these suggestions will be accepted, this will promote disintegrating tendencies. This is the most important point, that if these suggestions will be accepted, so this suggestion is justified or not, so you will say no, not justified. This suggestion is not justified. Why not justified? Because if accepted, right, it will promote disintegrating tendencies. It will promote, if accepted, it will promote disintegrating tendencies. Disintegrating tendencies in future. This is the problem. So this is not good. And regarding this suggestion, what is the difference between Nehru report and Jinnah's 14-point formula? So dekho, Nehru report talked about a powerful center. It advocated for a powerful center, and here Jinnah's 14-point formula is talking for powerful provinces. This is the difference. Jinnah is supporting what? Powerful provinces, and Nehru report was supporting what? Powerful center. So, do you think it should be accepted? No. INC will not accept it. British will not accept it at all. British तो कहेंगे हमारा Simon Commission ही अच्छा है. They will not accept. But INC will reject it, outwardly reject it. This is one point. Now, what is the second important suggestion? I have written this. Point 1. Okay, this is a very important point. Now, what is the second important point here? Okay, so second important point will be, in Jinnah's 14-point formula, what will be accepted? Separate electorate system. Jinnah will say, we want separate electorate system, right? And this separate electorate system will ensure, it's saying that this separate electorate system will ensure adequate and effective representation of, this will ensure adequate and effective representation of Muslim minorities. He is saying that this separate electorate system will ensure adequate and effective representation of Muslim minorities. Got it? Is this claim true? Yes or no? The answer is no. We already have discussed the definition of separate electorate. Basically, separate electorate system will ensure what? Inadequate. Separate electorate system will ensure what? Inadequate and improper representation, right? Inadequate and improper representation. And Jinnah is saying that this will ensure what? adequate and effective representation. Okay, so this claim itself is wrong. So Jinnah rejected joint electorate system, right, and he advocated for separate electorate system. Okay, he advocated for separate electorate system. And not only this, what he does, right, third point, that is also very interesting. Okay, apart from this, what is his additional demand? So he is saying that, okay, in central legislature, for example, today our Indian parliament is the central legislature. So he is saying that in central legislature, like today the central legislature is parliament, आज parliament है. So he is saying that in central legislature, the Muslim representation should not be less than 1/3. Okay, it's saying that in central legislature, the Muslim representation should not be less than 1/3. Right? Is it justified? क्या justified है? आज का parliament है, Indian parliament is our central legislature. So he is saying that in central legislature, the Muslim representation should not be less than 1/3. 1/3 से कम नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay, and not only this, he is putting an additional demand. And what is the demand? He is saying that, for example, today in Indian parliament, there is a prime minister and a cabinet ministers. Okay, in polity you will read about this. Cabinet ministers, they are the most important ministers, PM plus cabinet. So he is saying that in central cabinet also, the Muslim representation should not be less than 1/3. कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर्स में से भी 1/3 क्या होने चाहिए? मुस्लिम्स होने चाहिए. दिस इज हिज डिमांड. Okay, is it in accordance with the proportion of the Muslim population in India? No, it was not in accordance with the proportion of Muslim population in India at that time. Muslim population was not 1/3, na? So why you are asking for 1/3 representation? So this is what? An improper demand. So he said that in central legislature, in central cabinet, in central legislature, in central cabinet, Muslim representation again should not be less than 1/3. Should not be less than 1/3. This is also improper demand. It cannot be justified. Okay, that Muslim representation should not be 1/3, less than 1/3. Got it? Now, there is another additional demand. And these demands are radical demands or not? Yes, these are the radical demands. This cannot be accepted. Now his next demand was, for example, today's Indian parliament is called central legislature, right? So he is saying that in central legislature, right, in central legislature, if any bill will be introduced, for example, if you want to make, okay, an act, what is the general process? That a bill is introduced for the purpose, and then this bill is passed with majority votes, in central legislature, and then this bill becomes act. This is the normal procedure, right? Okay, if it is a money bill and all this, so in polity you will read about the technicalities. But first what happens? Draft of a bill is introduced. First this happens, draft of a bill is introduced. This is the first step, that a draft of a bill will be introduced. And what is the second step? It will be passed with majority votes, and then it will become an act. Now what Jinnah is saying? What is the stand of Muslim League here? So Jinnah or the Muslim League is saying that, okay, in this central legislature, okay, there are different minority groups. Minority group A, B, C, there are different minority groups. One of the minority groups is Muslim also, right? So in this central parliament, there are different minority groups. there are different minority groups. Okay, in the central parliament there are different minority groups. For example, one minority is the Muslim minority also, right? There are the other minorities as well, okay, Sikh and other minorities as well. And he's saying that if you are introducing a bill, okay, and there are different minority groups in the parliament, okay, he is talking to for the representation of different minority groups. One group is Muslim minority group also, and he is saying that, for example, if there are 120 members, Muslim members, right? Jinnah is saying that if 3/4 of them, okay, at least 3/4 of them, if 3/4 of them will approve that bill, then that bill will be passed. If there are 120 Muslim members, and if 90 or more than 90 will approve or give their assent, then this bill will pass. मेरी बात समझ गए? Out of, for this is just a number, that example, 120 members. Suppose there are Muslim minority members, the number is 120. Let's take an example. So Jinnah is saying that 3/4 of 120. What will be the number? 90. So Jinnah is saying that minimum 3/4 members should approve this bill. If they will not approve this bill will not become an act. And this is not only this will not be only the case with the Muslim minority. It will be with other minorities as well. हर माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप का 3/4 कम से कम ऐसा हो जो अप्रूव करे इस बिल को. अगर 3/4 से कम मेंबर किसी भी माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप के अप्रूव करेंगे तो ये बिल पास नहीं हो पाएगा. दिस इज व्हाट? अ काइंड ऑफ वीटो गिवन टू द माइनॉरिटी, राइट? एंड दिस वीटो इन टेक्निकल सेंस इज कॉल्ड communal veto, right? So Muslim League could disrupt the passage of any bill, right? Muslim minorities could disrupt the passage of any bill. अगर वो चाहेंगे तभी कोई बिल एक्ट बन पाएगा, because out of all members 3/4 का अप्रूवल जरूरी है. This is the point. So this is called communal veto. This is called communal veto. This is called communal veto. So in Jinnah's 14 points formula, this was also a demand. Why we are calling it communal veto? Because if the Muslim minority groups, their representatives, okay, they will not like a bill to be passed in parliament or the central legislature, this will not happen, because 3/4 members, okay, 3/4 members must approve it, 3/4 Muslim members must approve it. So this is called communal veto. So a kind of communal veto was given, he is asking to give to Muslim League कि communal veto हमें चाहिए. Got it? Okay. Is this good for the parliamentary procedures? No. Okay, this is not good. This will disrupt the passage of each and every bill. So again, this demand is not justified. This is again a more radical demand. Now what is his next demand? The next demand is that, his next demand is that, right, in the services, okay, for example, central services, provincial services, okay, Muslim members should be given, Muslim members, Muslim minorities should be given, right, adequate share. ठीक है, they should be given adequate share, they should be given adequate share, and this adequate share will be in the proportion of their population, in the proportion of their population, right? So he's saying that in services also, okay, we want our representation, okay, and this representation should be in proportion with our population. Okay, we need that level, that scale of participation in services also. Okay, so this is his another demand. Now the next demand of Muslim League and the Jinnah was, okay, freedom of religion. Yes, this was already given. by Nehru report. Okay, he talked about religious liberty. This was already given by the by the Nehru report. Nehru report ने इसको तो अप्रूव किया ही था, freedom of religion and religious liberty, right? So he is also demanding for this, okay, freedom of religion and religious liberty. This can be justified. Yes, it's okay. Nehru report had already, okay, talked about freedom of religion and religious liberty. Okay, now what he is saying, the one more point, and that is giving constitutional safeguards to the Muslims. It means protecting, okay, Muslim language, protecting Muslim religion, protecting Muslim culture, all this. Okay, so he's obviously, if freedom of religion and religious liberty will be given, so this means what? That constitutional safeguards must be given to the Muslim minorities, right? And when we talk about these constitutional safeguards, so these constitutional safeguards are for the protection of the religion, language, culture, and everything. So this must be given. So this is one of his demand. Okay, now what he is saying the next, okay, his next demand is Sindh region. Sindh region at that time came under Bombay Presidency, right? So he said that Sindh should be separated from the Bombay Presidency. Sindh region should be separated from Bombay Presidency. Again, this is a separatist demand. Why he is talking about the Sindh region? That should be separated from the Bombay Presidency, because here the Muslim population is what? Majority population. Muslim population is what? Majority population in Sindh. So if it will be separated, Jinnah is saying that Muslim interest could be protected in a more effective manner. If it is a part of Bombay Presidency, then Muslims are minority. If Sindh will be separated from the Bombay Presidency, so here Muslims will be majority population and their interest can be protected. So this is saying that we want to do this separation of Sindh from the Bombay Presidency, right? And he is saying that in some other regions like northwest frontier province, in the some other regions like Baluchistan region, again these were the Muslim majority areas, he said that reforms should be introduced on the same lines. It means here reforms should be introduced and these reforms must safeguard or guarantee, right, the protection of the Muslims. So this is his demand. Okay, now tell me, and one more thing, he is saying that if you want to bring some amendments to the constitution, so these amendments will not be possible until and unless the provinces, okay, will allow this, until and unless the concurrence of the states or the provinces is, okay. Today the center can bring amendment to the constitution, okay, and concurrence of states, okay. क्या ऐसा है क्या कि अगर states नहीं चाहेंगे तो amendment नहीं होगा? नहीं. If there is a powerful center, center can bring amendments to the constitution. And Jinnah is saying that, okay, no changes in constitution. This point is also important. Read this. No changes in constitution could be made. No changes in constitution, that is, no constitutional amendment could be made without the concurrence of the states. Without the concurrence of the states, no changes in constitution can be made without the concurrence of the states. No changes in constitution can be made without the concurrence of the states. It means what? Powerful center or powerful provinces. What is the conclusion of this? This means powerful provinces. Center को amendments ला ही नहीं सकता बिना provinces के. So what is the crux of this topic? that Jinnah talked about what? Powerful provinces. And this was not good, because this kind of suggestion in future could promote disintegrating tendencies. And Jinnah was adamant that we want separate electorate system at any cost. Now what will happen? Okay, the next important thing. Nehru report was rejected by Lord Birkenhead, SOS, right? Nehru report was rejected by Lord Birkenhead. And Nehru report was also rejected by Muslim League. Muslim League also rejected it. Kaha Nehru report nahi chahiye. Nehru report is not accepting separate electorate system. In the same way, when Jinnah's 14 points formula will come in 1929, do you think that the Lord Birkenhead will accept it? No. Lord Birkenhead केवल किसके recommendation को accept करेगा? Simon Commission. These two models are the alternatives of the Simon Commission recommendations. So Lord Birkenhead rejected Jinnah's 14-point formula also. And this Jinnah's 14-point formula will be accepted or rejected by Indian National Congress. Indian National Congress will do what? Will reject it. Okay. So what do you conclude here? INC recommendations are rejected by Muslim League, and Muslim League recommendations are rejected by Indian National Congress. And these are the two main political parties. So this is called a situation of political deadlock. आज़ादी मिलने तक मुस्लिम लीग INC के हर स्टेप का क्या करेगी? Oppose करेगी. So this is a kind of, what we see here, that this is a kind of deadlock between INC and Muslim League. So this is a kind of political deadlock. This is a kind of political deadlock between Indian National Congress and Muslim League. And this political deadlock will continue till independence. This political deadlock will continue till independence, till 1947. Till 1947, this political deadlock will continue. Got it? Okay. This political deadlock will continue. These points, right? This is what Sindh presidency should be made. Sindh should be made a separate province. Earlier it was a part of Bombay province. This is what Northwest Frontier province and Balochistan region, right? The reforms should be introduced in the same manner as in Sindh, right? What is being done to secure the rights of Muslims, and here no changes in constitution could be introduced without the concurrence of the states or the provinces. It means it's talking to make provinces more powerful. This is the idea. Okay. These are the suggestions. Now here, I hope you are understanding this. Nehru report rejected by Lord Birkenhead. It was rejected by Muslim League. Jinnah's 14-point formula rejected by Lord Birkenhead, who was the Secretary of State, and it was also rejected by INC. So what we see here, the proposal of Indian National Congress, basically Nehru report is the proposal of Indian National Congress, is rejected by Muslim League, and here the proposal of Muslim League is rejected by Indian National Congress.